Welcome back, everybody. We are gearing up for finals. Oh, man.
Really? It's finals, and that's the least hype intro you've given.
But...
I'm disappointed.
Okay, but hear me out. After finals, there's a PC.
Oh, yeah. A PC? Alright, so we weren't going to stream this. But then we heard it's best of one. And we've heard some of the memes that people are running. So we're going to be bringing those memes to you because me and Franklin are two very appreciative people of memes.
Oh, man.
So,
and like, the thing is that at the current setup of the format, Premier Challenges don't award a whole lot of points. So basically the Kansas City group got together and they're like, all right, look, do we want best of one or best of three? And everybody kind of took a vote, and basically it was unanimous, like, nah, we're going to do best of one. All right? The championship points aren't enough that all of us really want to deal with it. So we're going to do best of one, and everybody's going to bring just, like, memes, right? So the thing is that when we're talking memes, we're not talking, like, best of one, oh, this is cute tech. We're talking, like, it's basically trash that we're all trying to compete. Who brought the trashiest trash?
Okay, but enough about the good old best of one memes. It's finals time.
It is finals.
Of course, as you saw from the top four, we got Leonard Kraft III versus Ethan Simpson for this finals. Both players playing really similar team concepts. Like each player running the Incineroar, Amoonguss, Tapu, Koko, and Salamence on their team. The difference is coming with Ethan running that Suicune and Celesteela, while Leonard's got that Aegislash and Tapu Fini. So, and I'm honestly really interested to see how this is going to play out, because I haven't really seen a mirror like this. And these are both two players that are extremely familiar with one another's play styles. So that familiarity, based on team familiarity, should make it a really interesting set.
Yeah, and it'll be definitely interesting to see how some of the different tech choices that some of the players have made. Because we've seen that Ethan is going for the Assault Vest in Intimidate Incineroar, and if I remember correctly, Leonard has a Berry Incineroar.
Yeah, so Leonard's is the Taunt Figgy Berry set. And another thing is, the difference in Suicune and Tapu Fini here might be a big difference.
Right.
Because we saw Tapu Fini is that bulky Calm Mind variant, which if it gets a couple Calm Minds going and start punching holes into Ethan's team. Well, on the other hand, you have Suicune. And Suicune has that speed control support, which Leonard does not have at all.
So it's really interesting to see that the common core here, we've got the Tapu Koko and the Incineroar and the Amoonguss on both teams. But then, like, you've got a bulky water type with either Fini or Suicune, and then you've got a bulky steel type with either Celesteela or Aegislash. And then on Ethan's side, he's put a Z Crystal on the Tapu Koko, and then Leonard has a Z Crystal on his Aegislash. So we've got some heavy damage output, but what this does mean is that while Ethan will likely be able to get Koko in and around for pretty much free against most of Leonard's team, Leonard might actually be able to control terrain and keep Tapu Fini's terrain out and about.
Yeah, no, I think a wild card pick in this game is going to be Leonard's Tapu Koko. We haven't seen it at all in his stream sets. Like, not at all.
Yeah.
It's just been glued to that bench the entire tournament. And of course, I keep making this reference, and I'm going to make it one last time. Because the team is just so extremely similar. But Tapu Koko on Ashton's team was Assault Vest.
Right.
Okay, mirror matchup, and we get a mirror lead.
This is... So...
Hey, we talked about double genies in 2015. Where's your genies now? It's Tapu Koko and Incineroar, cat and the chicken.
Cat and chicken. Cat and chicken double team. So basically, it looks like we're going to be trading fake outs, and a lot of this will be down to, like, are these speed ties, or are these going to be slight niche variations in how trainers have decided to train their Pokemon? And then with Tapu Koko, we know that one has the Z Crystal, so there's just a lot of variation here. So it looks like Ethan has decided to bring out Amoonguss and go ahead and protect his Tapu Koko, trying to eat some fake outs and make sure that not a whole lot is coming out. Fake out's going to go onto Amoonguss, and looks like we're going to have a Z Crystal pop here from Tapu Koko.
This is Leonard's Tapu Koko, so it's not that Assault Vest, like was speculated. Sorry, but we see this Gigaable Havoc. I don't know who's going to target. It's going to do a good amount of damage to both. We actually see the Tapu Koko on Leonard on Ethan's side get targeted. That good protect there, taking 20% ish.
Yeah, and so that's actually a really good play on Ethan's side. So Ethan might have played against Leonard previously. Again, a lot of the Kansas City players are a really close-knit group. And so seeing that there's the potential for a fake out and Electrium Z in electric terrain, that's going to be heavy damage output. And now we see the Amoonguss mirrors come out and Rage Powder's immediately used. And we see a Volt switch from Leonard, just trying to reset a little bit of board positioning.
Yeah, and I think another thing to note with that turn one was how that Incineroar just immediately went for fake out onto Ethan's Incineroar.
Yeah.
Like, just so knowing, because I believe, I didn't pay attention, but I believe that his Intimidate went first. So
okay.
The Incineroar on Leonard's side, I believe, was quicker than Ethan's. So that might come into play later on. But we just see this Gigavolt Havoc coming out from Tapu Koko. And whoever if this targeted the Tapu Koko slot, that's big. Because this Incineroar just came in, and we saw it's not Assault Vest, so it would take a lot of damage. But no, very good switch in by Leonard, getting that Amoonguss in, taking a decent amount of damage, but wasting that Z Crystal.
Yeah. And knowing that we've got the Pinch Berry on Amoonguss, and knowing that Regenerator can just eliminate a lot of damage, and then Leonard has come out here and reset Fake Out potential. Like, I mean, this isn't a bad position.
Yeah. I want to touch on something real quick.
Go for it.
This Amoonguss is putting on more offensive pressure. We saw the Sludge Bomb in top 4, KO top games. And if Ethan's gonna disrespect the Amoonguss, you can't stop it with Rage Powder this. Right. So we could see like a Flare Blitz Sludge Bomb play, and then the Tapu Koko just goes down as a potential double cancel. What's the Tapu Koko
switch? It looks
gets
like
on
Ethan
out of there.
Does respect this.
All right, not wanting anything to do with that Sludge Bomb from Amoonguss.
And Tapu Koko, we mentioned that this is a mirror matchup, but there are very slight variations between the two. With Ethan, his Amoonguss has Clear Smog, so he's going to be able to eliminate any boost if Leonard decided to bring Tapu Koko or Tapu Fini and set up Calm Minds. Where Leonard has that Sludge Bomb, which is able to not only poison its opponent, but also do pretty heavy damage to the Tapus.
Yeah, we actually see a double into Amoonguss there. So letting that Salamence get in for free. And this is a very scary spot if you're Leonard, because you don't have any offensive pressure down on that Salamence. Like, yeah, you can put it to sleep with Spore. However, it can just return you, and the Amoonguss is gone. But we actually see another mirror turn. So the same 4 Pokemon on each side. Salamence, though, coming out, get that Intimidate down on both Pokemon. And Amoonguss is actually going to opt to switch out itself. I like this play. Just get that Regenerator. Get another Intimidate later with Incineroar.
And it's just really funny because visually, if you're a player that's looking at this and like not really aware of what the subtle difference is, because maybe you just tuned in, so welcome. But like visually speaking, because everybody's brought everything the same, the only difference is that one player has one shiny and the other has the other shiny. But we see Salamence going for this Mega here. And going for a Frustration, which is now -1 into a resisted electric type because of Salamance's Aerialate as a Mega that turns all normal types, gives it a 20% boost, and turns them into flying types.
Yeah, so good switch. Good switch in there from Leonard. Just now he's got all his pressure down on Salamence. We were talking about the Dragon Dance potential for Ethan. We could see that Dragon Dance come right out from Leonard's own Salamence this turn, and especially. Yeah, I was going to say, you can switch Incineroar, get another Dragon Dance.
And so what Ethan did here in that board positioning that really helped him set up pretty well is he brought Incineroar out, knowing that there wasn't a whole lot of offensive pressure against Incineroar directly, and he refreshed his Fake Out. So yes, he takes a little bit of Intimidate from the Salamence initially, but he's going for the Dragon Dance, resetting one of those Intimidates, but then, oh man, this is just...
And a mirror Dragon Dance.
Great.
So both Salamence are at +1 speed. However, Leonard is at neutral attack. I believe it's neutral. Is it neutral or is it +1?
Yes. So it should be neutral now.
Yeah, because the Incineroar came in after.
Ethan's is at -1. Leonard's
Ethan is
neutral.
-1.
And so they should be speed tied at this point.
But if you're you're Leonard, you just got your Incineroar, and you can Fake Out the Salamence and go for another dance if you want to.
Oh,
and there's
man.
So,
but I did like on Ethan's side, opting not to go for the Fake Out. He could have prevented the Dragon Dance on Leonard's Salamence, but he instead insisted on trying to get damage off, and what that ended up doing is getting a little bit of chip damage on Leonard's Incineroar, which is, now below half. Oh, we see Leonard getting greedy.
Another Dragon Dance. This Amoonguss switching is risky if this Incineroar knocked it off or Flare Blitzed it. Leonard going for that Flare Blitz, punishing the Amoonguss switches.
Oh boy.
Picking up the KO. And that's big because now you don't have redirection for this boosted Salamence's attacks. And Incineroar barely clings on,
into
gets
berry
its
range.
Berry. So now it's an even... So that's just one of the differences there. That was Ethan's Incineroar. That damage is sticking. And then it just takes a small gust of wind to KO the Incineroar. However, now because of that berry, it's back above half health, and it's still a threat.
And so again, just some of these slight difference in techs, and then different positioning. So we've got Leonard's Salamence, which had it set up that second Dragon Dance, but it got intimidated yet again, so it's not.
I think we're going to see the same turn literally just come out in reverse. Yeah, Incineroar switches out.
Incineroar switches out. So we're going to see.
I think Ethan's probably going to Dragon Dance again. Salamence protecting. Now I want to take a frustration. Oh, okay.
So no
Fake Out Dragon Dance. Still a very safe play there.
Right.
From
so
Ethan.
Now both Salamences are again at equal boosted speed. And now we've got opportunity to bring out yet another Intimidate. Ethan opting for a slightly safer play to try and Fake Out instead of trying to call the switch into Amoonguss. But man, if that had been just yet another Flare Blitz.
If that was a mirror turn, that would have been something to see. But however, that frustration coming down from Ethan earlier is actually going to be paying huge dividends. Because he's ahead on damage, and the way these Salamences are getting, whichever one is the last one standing between the two, is probably the one that's just going to run through the game.
Right.
So we see Rage Powder into frustration. Amoonguss, bye-bye. Yeah, you're not taking that.
You're not taking that. That's not happening. So what Ethan
has
done
another
here...
Dragon Dance.
Oh, Leonard
I need to start taking... Alright, so this is +1 attack, +3 speed.
Correct.
Okay.
Both players have lost their Amoonguss. Both players still have Intimidate in the back. So now we've got Intimidate and Fake Out. Oh, man. And so this is...
All right, so
we can assume that Salamence at this point would probably take a Dazzling Gleam, though.
Leonard Salamence here is honestly the worst position of the two, because you have Tapu Koko threatening with Thunderbolt or Dazzling Gleam, and Salamence is just sitting there waiting to just 2-hit KO you from. So if you're Leonard, you need something big to happen now. You need to start picking up a KO. Like, the time for Dragon Dancing is probably over. And it's time to make use of all of those wasted turns Dragon Dancing.
Oh, Ethan's just going to sacrifice all that boosted speed, throw it away, get Incineroar out here. It looks like he's thinking that Tapu Koko is the way to win it here. Getting the Intimidate, again, we're just constantly negating all of these attack boosts. Tapu Koko going for the Protect so that it doesn't take any Fake Out damage. Incineroar on Leonard's side going for the Fake Out on the Tapu Koko. Brilliant Protect there. And another Dragon Dance.
I spoke too soon. Okay.
The Dragon Dancing isn't over.
The time for Dragon Dancing was not over, apparently. Leonard play there, calling that and just getting another boost up. So +1, +4. Now, my goodness.
And we still have 3 more turns of electric terrain.
Of course, we know a difference here. This could be different. We know Ethan's for sure has Earthquake. We don't know if that's the same thing for Leonard. So if he has that, it'd be to see if he goes for an Earthquake soon.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, with Incineroar and Tapu Koko, that would be a prime opportunity. But opts to just Protect. Tapu Koko reads that Protect, goes for Thunderbolt, and Incineroar barely hangs on there. Fires back.
Impressive bulk.
Fires back with that Flare Blitz. Or here's the thing: if that was Blaze boosted, that KO'd. That's the one downfall of the Intimidate right there, is you don't get the Blaze boost to KO the Tapu Koko.
All right, so now we're in a position where Ethan's Tapu Koko is low enough that Aerial 8 boosted Frustration might be able to pick up a Tapu Koko, and it's absolutely faster than this Tapu Koko.
Yeah, or this could come down to a speed tie, where you Frustration Ethan's Salamence and go for win the speed tie. But we see Ethan not winning any part of that, switches Incineroar for the Tapu Koko. Salamence probably just going to Protect here, if I had to guess, just getting it set up for next turn with a Fake Out Dragon Dance opportunity. Yeah, we do see that Protect. So what else is interesting about this is that we've talked about how that was
Ethan's that Dazzling Gleam
that did so much damage.
Yeah, that was a great call on Leonard's side, but that Incineroar on Ethan's side, because he's got the Assault Vest, he's surviving that. So one thing that we've discussed is that Ethan's Salamence, we've seen it revealed that it has Earthquake. So he could, in theory, Ethan has the tools available to be able to not only Fake Out this Salamence and prevent damage, but also maybe be able to pick up the KO on this Tapu Koko.
Yeah, we see that Frustration onto the opposing Salamence boost, so not a lot of damage.
Oh, and he's going for it. He's going for the Dragon Dance. He's trying to equalize.
It doesn't help him match it up, though. The Salamence, because he switched out, he's so behind on the Dragon Dance. Of course, he's only at +1 speed, while Leonard's is at +4.
Right.
If I had to guess, this Incineroar's probably gonna. I don't even know if it would switch out. I feel like if you're Ethan, you had to go for. When you switch out earlier, I think you had to accept that you lost war, and you were gonna have to find a different way to beat Leonard's own Salamence there. And I think damage right in that situation would have been very big.
Right. And so what he does have access to right now is Incineroar is still around, and he's going to switch it out and cycle those Intimidates a little bit further.
And the Fake Out.
And so it'll be interesting to see how Ethan can kind of come back. And if we look at your time here, Leonard has 56 seconds.
Yeah, Ethan's not very high either. Ethan's barely over a minute.
So now I don't think it's going to come up in this particular match, but it is something to see that because this is so positioning based between these two players, your time is something that will potentially factor in a little bit later on. So
yeah,
Ethan has cycled in Incineroar. He's got fresh Fake Out. He's intimidated that Salamence again. So it should be +1 attack Salamence, +1 speed Salamence against a neutral attack.
No, it's -1. It's -1 attack now.
Okay. So in theory, I think Ethan might be able to survive
this is gonna be
frustration,
close.
But
this comes down. I feel like this comes down to a potential. Of course, it comes down to a Protects right here.
Right.
Because you can double Protect and then nothing happens with the other side. The Dragon Dance on Ethan's side means nothing in terms of your Salamence because you're faster. And we do just see that double Protect.
Yep.
So this might come down to who gets targeted with the returns frustrations next turn. Because,
Absolutely.
because you can't. You really don't want to ignore either of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Ethan might have this one just because he's got the boosted attack.
Yeah.
And we've seen that's how much neutral did about half. -1 might not pick up the KO. You're assuming Ethan because it dies to a Dazzling Gleam right now.
Right.
And we really are getting
Why? Why
goes for the Dragon Dance. No, he's trying okay, so knowing he needs to get back Ethan Salamence, but he's gonna sacrifice his Tapu Koko in the process. And Flare Blitz is gonna come down from this Incineroar or knockoff. Flare Blitz actually, so this might KO himself to recoil.
Alright, so I mentioned that your time may not actually come in.
He gets the burn!
He got the burn!
He got the burn! And
Incineroar
Incineroar
stays
hangs on
around.
and gets the burn!
He got the burn, and the recoil wasn't enough to take it out. And so if you look at this, like, again, I didn't think that your time was going to come in, but we look at Leonard. This is like Leonard's last turn.
And this is game. That's game, because Ethan Salamence is just waiting there to KO with his own frustration.
God, that was so tense.
So Leonard trying to get that second Dragon Dance up. Not even second, the 5th Dragon Dance up. Just to get back to neutral to KO Ethan Salamence. But the Flare Blitz burn from Incineroar, pulling that game into Ethan's favor. Interesting to see that was even a Flare Blitz in the first place. I'm not sure the damage difference between Flare Blitz and knockoff.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, because as you like, both of them are like.
However,
Flare Blitz is resisted, so it's going to be cut in half. But the knockoff doesn't knock off an item, so.
Yeah, and the thing is, if they're near similar base power, Flare Blitz has that burn chance.
Right.
Which it just got. Oh my goodness, that was such a close game. Like that
and
was
just the fact that could have been a damage roll.
Expecting.
That could have been a damage roll. So by that I mean that if Incineroar had done a little bit more damage to Salamence, the recoil damage could have taken out Ethan's Incineroar. That looked very close, like a handful of HP there. So just, oh man. So going into game 2 now, we've seen the mirror match, almost like the mirror match of the 4. And we'll have to see how each player adjusts not only their playstyle, but if they bring different Pokemon. Man, this is just... The war of Dragon Dances is upon us.
Yeah, that was such a close... Like you were saying, if that Flare Blitz crits the Salamence, it's not KOing. Incineroar goes down to Flare Blitz recoil. That's ball game, because Leonard's is faster. It got itself back to neutral, and it just KOs the next... But, oh my goodness. Everything that he needed to go right in that end with that Salamence went right.
It was
in this game, a little change up from Leonard. We get to some Amoonguss in the lead now.
So, at this point, now we've got Ethan with the only access to Flare Blitz. Or, not Flare Blitz, Fake Out. The other F word. And so we've got Amoonguss out here, which has access to Rage Powder, which could kind of focus that Tapu Koko, redirect any Electrium Z Thunderbolts in terrain, but also, you know, we've seen Dazzling Gleam available. So there's a lot of opportunities here, and I actually kind of like this adjustment from Leonard, because basically this means that he has to choose either Fake Out or Flare Blitz, and he can only make one of those decisions.
Yeah, we see that Amoonguss come right in from Ethan, just wanting to nullify those the potential electric energy from Leonard's Koko. Thunderbolt gets the paralysis. So, no Palchua Fake Out though, and we do see the Aka Berry.
There it is.
Gonna be able to take this Flare Blitz. Not comfortably, but it allows it to take 2. Thought we might see a Palchua Fake Out there, and we see the Sludge from Leonard's Amoonguss does decent amount of damage to Amoonguss. Notably, though, if that went into Incineroar, it might have been close on if Dazzling Gleam would have been able to pick it up this turn, but never know.
And so one thing that's really interesting about this is that we've seen a lot of Dragon Dances, and if Ethan can catch things in a decent position, he can actually reduce that with the Clear Smog, which is not something that we saw last game, but it's something that is possible.
Yeah. We see the Salamence hit the field. I don't think there's any way Leonard spores this. Yeah, it just switches out, but he could have, of course, spored that Salamence is floating, but we just see it get that Intimidate. That's actually a good switch out, getting that Salamence, getting the Intimidate off. We saw how big of a factor Dragon Dance was last game. So getting the Dragon Dances down early is going to be really important. And Tapu Koko going to Volt Switch right on out of there. Probably into his Salamence, if I had to guess.
Yeah, and so this is actually... this opens up a lot of opportunities here. And again, we've mentioned before that at this point in time, like when you're making your decision of what to bring in, that can change the game quite a bit. And so Salamence here coming in with the Incineroar coming in, and so that's a -2 Salamence on Ethan's side. And
with this Incineroar, I kind of want to talk about something real quick. We saw the Thunder, I know like the big thing takeaway from turn 1 is, the Incineroar is paralyzed now. But while it's paralyzed, we saw that damage from Thunderbolts last game would have been so important. We saw that Incineroar barely hung on because it didn't take a lot of damage till the end of the game when it took Dazzling. So getting that damage early on might just limit its options for switching in the late game because it can't take. So we see Incineroar come out for Ethan, getting an Intimidate cycled onto this. And Amoonguss coming out, so Tapu Koko hitting the field. And this is literally just a battle of board. This is literally just a battle of board position. Just having to call what each one is going to do and just getting your board set up accordingly is just more important now than ever. Frustration picks up the KO on Incineroar. No more. Well, the Salamence didn't Mega Evolve, so you have that Intimidate left. But once the Salamence Mega Evolves, there's no more Intimidate. So this Salamence is just, once it starts getting Dragon Dances up, that attack boost is going to stick.
And now one thing that we also need to keep in mind is that neither player has used up their Z move this game. And so I don't imagine that Salamence is really going to want to take that, and neither is Incineroar. And because Leonard has opted for a Pinch Berry on his Incineroar instead of an Assault Vest, it's going to take a lot more damage. So, I mean, right now, like, it's just... We saw Ethan get a Pokemon knocked out, but it doesn't feel like he's behind at all because he's dominating with all the pressure right now.
Yeah, he has the 2 more offensive Pokemon out on the board. And, like, the board position he created that turn from the intent, weakening Salamence, pressuring Tapu Koko with the Gigavolt Havoc. It's just going to free him up, just go on the offensive this turn. We see the Gigavolt Havoc. Going to be interesting to see who this targets down. If it's probably going to KO. This is a bulkier Salamence from Leonard, so it might be able to take it. Maybe.
And even if it goes into Koko,
it goes into Tapu Koko, it's going to do 80%.
It's so much damage.
Yeah, almost picking up the 1-hit KO, 13%. Ethan's Salamence setting up that Dragon Dance. Leonard probably doing the same. Yeah. So right back from where we were in game 1. Salamence getting that Dragon Dance up, matching Ethan's. But here's the thing, big thing. This is sticking. This Salamence can no longer get its attack dropped anymore, which is huge.
Right.
And Leonard still has the freedom to shuffle in his.
Leonard still has his Incineroar, but Ethan has unfortunately lost his. So all of the Dragon Dances on Leonard's side are just going to stick completely, unless somehow there's a miracle that's going to allow a clear Smog from Ethan, which seems very unlikely.
Yeah, very unlikely considering that Amoonguss is just going to get blown up by a neutral frustration from the Salamence.
And so what
you never know, that can be a mind game later on. We see frustration take out Tapu Koko
in a really bad position because they're both at fairly low HP. And now both Salamence is going for frustration.
Oh, he doesn't KO!
What?
Salamence not picking up the KO! That's huge!
That was such a close call, but this does mean that Leonard is free to bring in his own Intimidate and Fake Out. So this puts him in a pretty decent position here. Tapu Koko is at really low health, but then, Oh man, there's just so many opportunities here, and
Yeah,
both
and
players are doing a great
that's a
job
play
of board
where you
positioning.
gotta. That's a play where you gotta wonder if that's a difference in the Salamence is coming through.
Mm-hmm.
Like Earthquake, if Leonard carries Earthquake, Earthquake always KO Tapu Koko.
Absolutely.
But if he
And
doesn't have it, then we get what happened last turn and not KOing it, and now you have to worry about it for another turn. Fake out into Salamence, gonna get the flinch there. Oh, he's at the getting gutsy.
what a greedy
Hoping
play!
trying to call the Tapu Koko Protect, but it goes for a dazzling gleam, KOing Sal. Oh
No,
one hit
it survives with 1 HP. Ah!
one hit
What is
point.
going on?
But I don't
Oh,
think
man.
it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna be that big because +1. He's gonna need to crit Ethan Salamence here for him to even have a chance. So pulling this game back.
Man, both players in the back have one more Pokemon. Ethan,
And they're both
has-
Amoonguss.
Yeah, so Amoonguss just does not like taking these frustrations. But again, we see that that Leonard Salamence is just that little bit bulkier, but it just doesn't seem. It seems like some of that investment came out of his attack. So we're seeing a +2 frustration go into Ethan Salamence, and Ethan is just going to go ahead and match. He says, you know what, you got a second Dragon Dance, and I want one too. So at this point, you've got another Dazzling Gleam coming out. It's going to pick up Leonard's Salamence and do a little bit of extra damage to that Incineroar. But honestly,
we see the knockoff. Not enough.
Quite.
So that Salamence barely clinging on.
That is...
And the return will just clean up. Return Thunderbolt just cleans up the game. And Ethan Simpson is going to take... He hadn't earned a single point from locals this year up to this point. And comes in and takes this midseason from
But I mean,
Leonard.
the mirror matchup mind games. We've been talking about
and I
mind
think
games
the
all
yeah.
day.
But we see a Protect from Salamence, so maybe not over quite yet. Volt switch into Amoonguss.
Okay, so this is kind of interesting. Seeing
But it's
how
just
Ethan wants to play this just a little bit slower. And it could be, again, like everybody in the Kansas City competitive area is pretty good friends. So if you know that something is pretty much over, maybe you're going to give it a little bit of airtime. Drag it out. Give everybody a little bit of a breather so we can catch our breath and just like recapture our thoughts.
But I think the big turn in this game, though, was the turn where Leonard went for that second Dragon Dance.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to win the mind game of, okay, I can fake out KO your Tapu Koko.
Right.
And I'm like trying to punish a Protect there with the second Dragon Dance.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of just opting for KOs and saying, this is fine, and instead of trying to just win the game by shuffling and might have been a better play, but you just never know. We can't go back and change it. Frustration into the Amoonguss Protect. And then this Flare Blitz from Incineroar. Going to KO Amoonguss. So gonna help out the Pokemon score for Leonard. This might actually proc a berry. But
yeah,
so
procs, that's actually putting him in a pretty good position. But I don't know if he's going to be able to take a Thunderbolt in terrain.
This is going to be close. This might come down to a double Protect. But here's the thing. If you're Ethan, your Salamence is boosted up to where it's at. I think return into Incineroar is just the safer play here. Because it covers for a Rage Powder. If he doesn't Rage Powder, then you just KO Incineroar with a combo of Thunderbolts. But
and we also have to
you never know. John Masters got double Protect last game.
Right.
So...
and it is important to remember that like the only priority that Incineroar even has is that Fake Out. So it's not even like Sucker Punch is available, which would be just super helpful. And so this doesn't get the double. Down to trying to get that double Protect. He doesn't quite get it.
Oh, the opportunity was there though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ethan
targeted
not
the
reading
Amoonguss.
that as a potential opportunity. And that Thunderbolt, we'll see. Looks like 4 HP.
So if he got the double Protect, he would have... If he would have got the double Protect, he would have won the game.
Oh, man. What a great play, though. Leonard seeing exactly what his outs were.
Leonard's notifying that he had a 33% chance of winning the game. Fake out and Thunderbolt from Tapu Koko gonna seal this game up. And Ethan Simpson is now officially your Game Cafe mid-season champion, putting him at what I believe is a 240 CP. So just getting him closer to that invite.
All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for now for this mid-season showdown, but stay tuned.
Yeah, we got some memes coming, people. Stay tuned for those.
We have a PC coming up. There is a premiere challenge right after this, so hang in there with us. We will be going to a break so that they can set everything up for the premiere challenge, but we will be back.